Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
This particular man established a terrific record.
We're going to have to do this thing simply by the box score.
He could hit. He could run.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rickey. I'm certainly delighted with my contract.
He could field. He could throw. He could think.
And I think the conscience of America is beginning to awaken.
Those of us who are fortunate again must use in order to help others.
He was always a fierce and a hard competitor.
But we really are not going to have very many allies, and you've got to turn your cheek at every opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Robinson.
I'm sure that in the immediate future, things are going to improve a great deal.
Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT Ubers TV. It was 67 years ago today that Jackie Robinson changed the landscape of professional baseball, and baseball has been grateful ever since and celebrates this as Jackie Robinson's Day, honoring the great player. Tonight, the Rangers try to change the landscape here at Globe Life Park and get a win over the Seattle Mariners in Game 2 of this 4-game series. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Green, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Jackie Robinson Day. And everybody wearing the same number, 42. It's a great tribute to Jackie Robinson and all he did for baseball. And the Rangers hope that it's a lucky number for them tonight. They have Robbie Roscoe, number 42, and his third major league start, looking to improve, Tom.
Well, he is improving, Buzz. He's been a reliever for 2 years, a reliever that wanted to become a starting pitcher. He's lobbied for it. He worked hard during spring training. He's earned the right to be a starter, and his first 2 starts have gone okay. They've gotten better. His stuff has been quality. The one thing he wants to improve on, cut down the walks, 8 walks in 10 innings. But he's throwing the ball well. His off-speed pitches are coming along. He's not quite there yet, but you like the progress he's making.
Sure do. And Robbie, of course, kind of a bulldog kind of guy. He's going out there tonight to see if he can change his own luck, and he'll let his ball club try to score some runs for him, which they have not been able to do when he's in yet. Well, the quad deuce is up everywhere tonight. In honor of Jackie Robinson, Rangers looking for a W as they take on the Seattle Mariners. We'll be back with the starting lineup to the first pitch right after this. your Texas Ford dealer. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. Now, Robbie Ross taking the mound, and Robbie has gotten off to a very good start statistically, with the exception of the wins. He does not have a win yet, but Ron Washington said, look, he's kept us in the ball games. He's only given up a total of 2 runs in his first 2 outings, so trying to give the Rangers again an opportunity to score some runs for him and see if they can't get a W here over Seattle. Here's the Lloyd McClendon Seattle Mariner lineup. Abraham Almonte leads off. He's the center fielder. Brad Miller, the shortstop's next. Then Robinson Cano. Corey Hart, the DH, bats cleanup. Stephen Romero is in right field tonight. Kyle Seager, the killer of Globe Life Park, bats 6th. Justin Smoke is at first. Willie Bloomquist to start in left field. And batting 9th, the catcher, Mike Zunino.
We'll check our scouting report brought to us by Sonic for Robbie Ross. 0-0 in 2 starts, but an excellent ERA, 174. A lot of ground balls, great ratio, 16-6 ground ball to fly ball ratio. Rangers' 2nd round pick in the 2008 draft. Came up as a starting pitcher in the minor leagues. He's been in relief for 2 years, trying to work his way into the rotation.
And the first pitch of the night is a bit low to Almonte. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Almonte, a switch hitter up there from the right side against the lefty Ross. Both corners for the Rangers up just about even with the bag. Third baseman Kuzminoff a step in front of the bag at third, and Prince Fielder a step or so behind the bag. 2-0 pitch on the way. And a strike is called. It's 2-1. Almonte at .216. A home run and 5 driven in. Swing and a miss. Robbie with that good cutter. 2-2 the count.
Yep, that's his signature pitch to a right-hand hitter. When he can put that on the inside part of the plate, a little bit off the plate, he's going to get a lot of weak outs.
And call strike 3.
And then come back outside with one. Not bad.
Robbie Ross turning Almonte into a frozen TV dinner. Swanson's variety. And that is out number 1. Let's take a look at the Ranger defense. Brought to you by Fred Loya Insurance. Chu, Martin, and Rios, left, center, and right. Fielder at first. Donnie Murphy, the start at second. He teams up the middle with Elvis Andrus. Kevin Kuzminoff at third. Robinson Chirinos is catching. And the first pitch to Brad Miller is fouled back for strike 1.
Well, the pitch before this was a good cutter on the inside part of the plate, and that one had a little tailing action. And that combination was a little too much for Abraham Almonte in the first at-bat.
Brad Miller, a .222 average, 3 home runs. He has driven across 6, and he swings through that Robbie Ross fastball.
Robbie went 5 innings against the Phillies, then 5 1/3 against the Red Sox. He walked 6 against the Red Sox, but had some nice stuff.
Check swing, he went around. And that is Paul Schreiber making that call at third base, and Robbie Ross swinging up back-to-back punch-outs. 2 gone in the first inning.
It's more of a sweeping type breaking ball, more of a slider, and he definitely swung at it. Pretty tough combination for a left-hand hitter.
Well, that's a pitch we didn't see a lot from Robbie Ross when he was a reliever.
Not much, no. That is a slider, right?
Yeah, sure looks like it.
Sometimes they call it a cutter, and it actually is a slider, but Robbie's cutter is a little tighter than that.
Robinson Cano now batting third in the order, and he takes ball 1. No, it looks like a slider. It breaks like a slider, so I'm going to call it a slider.
That's right. That's the way I look at it.
There's a looper to left center field. Coming on Martin, but he's going to have to play it on a bounce. And Cano continuing to swing a hot bat. That extends his road hitting streak to be brought into play tonight. He is now up to 15 consecutive road games. So 1 on, 2 out. Corey Hart, the DH, will step in. Hard hitting, just 167, but providing some pretty good pop in the middle of the order. 3 home runs and 5 RBI. Modest lead at first for Cano, and the pitch is inside for ball 1. Corey Hart, one of the acquisitions by the Mariners over the winter. He's an 0 for 9 right now, but they look for this big guy to get untracked. Ground ball wide at third, stumbling and knocking it down. Kuzminoff, he will have no play. Kevin kind of got his feet crossed up going for that ball, and he did get some leather on it going down the line, but that's going to be a base hit.
Yeah, that was a tough play. That ball was hit pretty hard. Had a little bit of spin on it. Takes a tough hop, too. Knocked it down. That would have been some kind of play if he could have come up and made that play. He kept it in front of him, and instead of second and third, maybe second and a man scoring, it's first and second. So good job knocking it down. It's up to Robbie to see if he can get Stefan Romero here.
Yeah, 2 on and 2 out. And the first pitch to Romero is just a little bit low for ball 1. Romero we saw last night as a pinch runner. Off to a slow start. This is inaugural Major League campaign. 133 with an RBI. Cano at second. Hard at first. And the pitch tails to the outside corner. 1-1. Mariners coming in as a team in the American League, 12th in their .232 team batting average. On base percentage is 14th. They are at .293. Here's a slow breaking ball. Robbie pulling the string a bit. Couldn't get Romero to nibble at that one. It's 2-1. Robbie Ross, the 24-year-old Kentuckian. Got him on the fist, a slow roller to short. Elvis unloads, and Prince digs it out. That will do it. So back-to-back 2-out hits, no problem for Ross and the Rangers. Mariners strand 2 after a half inning. Rangers nothing, Mariners nothing. Rangers coming up. Coming to bat, and here's the Southwest Airlines Texas Rangers starting lineup. Chu leads off, then it's Elvis Andrus. Alex Rios bats third. Prince Fielder cleans things up. He's the first baseman. Kevin Kuzminoff at third. The DH is Mitch Moreland. Donnie Murphy bats seventh. He starts at second base. Leonis Martin in center, and batting ninth, the catcher, Robinson Chirinos.
And we'll check our Sonic scouting report for Blake Bevan. First Major League start this season. He had 2 starts at AAA Tacoma. Pitched well. 2.08 ERA. In 7 games against the Rangers, he has a .284 earned run average. Not an overpowering pitcher, He was the Rangers' first-round pick in 2007, the 17th overall pick. But he is a control pitcher. He will not walk you. Throws a sinker, tries to get ground balls, throws a lot of strikes.
Chu starting things off. Shin-Soo at .289. And on-base percentage, though, up above 43%. And the pitch high out of the glove of Zunino. 1 ball and 1 strike. 441 now the on-base percentage for Shin-Soo Choo. Bevan at 6'7". Comes downhill to home plate and misses low and inside. 2-1. Rangers have had Chu on quite a bit lately and really haven't made a whole lot of strides as far as scoring runs when he's been able to get on. High in the air, left center field, Almonte and Bloomquist back. It's Almonte just stepping onto the cinders to haul it in, and Chu is a long out, 1 gone.
Hit that ball pretty well. There's not much in the way of wind tonight. Very mild breeze, if any at all, which is unusual for this ballpark.
Mariner defense, you saw Bloomquist and Almonte going after that ball in left center field. They are on left and center. Romero is in right. Smoke at first, Cano and Miller up the middle. Kyle Seager at third, Mike Zunino behind the plate. And Blake Bevan is on the hill. Bevan at 25 years of age.
After that out to deep left center field, Lloyd McClendon trotted out to the mound real quick. Had a couple of words for Blake Bevan and trotted back to the dugout. Not sure exactly what he tried to impart on him.
He didn't run out there like it was a social visit.
No, he didn't have a real happy look on his face right now either.
The 1 out, Elvis Andrus. The count of 1 ball and no strikes. Takes that low and away. It's 2-0. Elvis at .294. A home run, 3 driven in. You can see the problems, though, that he's had with Blake Bevan in his career. Elvis just 2 for 15 against the former Ranger farmhand. And there's a knee-high strike. Here's that visit Tom was talking about. Lloyd McClendon going out there after the long fly ball. And some finger-pointing gestures that this is what I want done. And
he wasn't asking any questions.
No, he wasn't. He didn't want to have a two-way conversation. Ted Barrett, the first base umpire, asked for his opinion. He said no swing. So it's 3-1 to Elvis. Andrews trying to get aboard for the number 3 hitter, Alex Rios. 3-1 pitch. Elvis taken all the way, and the count is full. Rangers come in 6th in the American League with a .251 team batting average. But they're 10th in runs scored, just 46. Elvis up the middle into center field, a base hit. That one right by the right knee of Blake Bevan on its way to center field. And Elvis, a 1-out single, is aboard.
Oh, he got a high sinker right down the center of the plate. Fortunately, that one didn't hit Blake Bevan. It was hit pretty hard. Just missed his right leg. Looked like he tried to knock it down with his right leg. He's probably lucky he didn't do that as hard as that ball was hit.
Yep.
He didn't want to walk him. He threw him a good strike to hit, and Elvis laced it up the middle.
Well, we'll see if Elvis has designs on swiping second base with Alex Rios at the plate. First pitch outside for ball 1. Rios at .280 for the season. The home run, 7 driven in. 7 RBI, the most on the club. Had pretty good success against Bevan, 3 for 8 with a home run. Elvis establishes his lead. He's staying put. And Rios trying to shoot one to the right side. Fouls it away to the right. A ball and a strike. Now, in about a month, that sun setting now down below the top of the stands on the first base side will be right in the eyes of the left fielder. This time of year, he doesn't have to deal with that in the early part of the game, but in another month, that'll be tough. There goes Elvis. The pitch is outside. The throw to second is in time. They get it. Looked like the slide that Ellis put on almost had him stop in the dirt.
Yeah, it looked like it was slow motion right at the end. Very nice throw by Zunino, the catcher. The ball was down and away, a breaking ball. He backhanded it, got rid of it quickly with something on it, and perfectly accurate. You can't make a better throw than that. You can see why the Seattle Mariners are high on that young catcher.
Well, 2-1 now, and the pitch is outside and high. It's 3 balls and a strike. Elvis looking back almost as if it were a hit and run. 3-1. Slowly hit up the middle, and Miller, the shortstop, is there. On to first, and that will do it. Well, the Rangers get a hit, but the caught stealing removes Andrus, and the Rangers are gone. After an inning of play, Mariners nothing, Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Top of the second inning. And Jim Knox is standing by. Jim?
I appreciate it, Buzz. Great night for baseball. This guy right here having date night. Hey, watch your hands, buddy. I'm watching you. There you go, buddy. All right, Community Corner tonight. We're talking about the Texas Rangers honoring Jackie Robinson. It is Jackie Robinson today. And before the game, plenty of pregame activities and help commemorating Jackie Robinson. Please log on to JackieRobinson.org. Buzz?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. So much good done by the organization and kids all over the country, beneficiaries of that. Kyle Seager leading things off for the Mariners. Down on the count after the foul ball, 0-1. Now the count's even. Seager continued to pummel Ranger pitching last night. He came in hitting a $122 and left here after the game last night hitting at 162. Chopper slowly hit to first, and Fielder will take it to the bag, and that's a good sign. He gets Seager out his first time up. 1 away.
Yeah, he had the at-bat, his first at-bat against Kobe last night. Kobe was cruising, very few pitches, and it was about a 10 or 11 pitch at-bat to Seager, and that really spiked his pitch count early in the game, and really never got back to what he had the first 5 batters, although it was still pretty good. But boy, the first 5 batters, he just pinpointed everything he threw.
Sure did. At time call, we had a ball get loose down the left field line. Ball girl will get out there and take care of it. Justin Smoke, the Mariner first baseman, stepping in. Smoke, the switch hitter, batting from the right side. 244 overall for Smoke. He's the team leader with 9 runs driven in. And a strike to the outside corner. Smoke has gone 2 for 6 as you can see against Robbie. Rips through a high fastball, and it's 0-2. Ross against Seattle has had pretty good luck over the years. 12 relief outings. He's had a 2.03 earned run average. All 3 runs that he has given up to the Mariners came last year. One and 2. Ross to the wind. Deep short, Elvis up with it. And that is out number 2. Well, folks, tomorrow night, reminder for you, a programming reminder that the Ranger game tomorrow night will be on the Plus side, on Southwest Plus. The Stars starting their playoff run will be on Fox Sports Southwest. So you can check your listings to find out where you can get Fox Sports Plus on your particular cable provider. We'll have a partial list of the ones we have for you later on this evening, and you can pick out where you have to turn to tomorrow night. But that's just for tomorrow night with the Stars playing. I believe they're playing out in Anaheim in their first round game. Congratulations to the Stars, by the way. It's great to see them back in the playoff hunt. And tomorrow night, well, you make sure you get on the Plus side. Tomorrow night, Felix Hernandez and Yu Darvish, and I don't think you get matchups like that on an everyday basis. That is going to be something.
The 2 guys that are throwing well too. Sometimes you catch a guy when he's not going that well, over 34 starts, but after a couple of starts early in the season, they're both at the top of their game.
Felix has won 3 times already, and he has struck out an average of 10 in each of his starts. Pitch is high to Willie Bloomquist, and that runs the count now to a ball and 2 strikes. 2-2, excuse me. Ross back to the plate. And a ground ball to the right side. Easy play for Donnie Murphy, and that'll do it. So 3 ground balls, 3 easy outs. Robbie Ross Jr. cruising through the second. After 1.5, still no score.
Jones with you as the Rangers head to the bottom of the second. No score, and Prince Fielder obviously off to a slower start than he would like, and he is actually being very honest with himself at this point.
You gotta lie to yourself a lot, a lot of lies. I mean, you're only human, of course. Nobody wants to do bad. I mean, and obviously everyone does realize it's early, but you still, as a competitor, you still, no matter whether it's early or late, you don't want to. You don't like to lose, whether that be in that bat or whether that be during the it's like still a competition between you and the pitcher. So you never like to lose, but yeah, like I said, you just have to, fake it till you make it, I guess.
Prince 2 for 4 last night, and I actually misspoke, fellas. I should have said he was being honest with me, but lying to himself and trying to get himself going. So hopefully a sign of things to come. As you guys have mentioned, he's hit some balls pretty hard, and hopefully they'll start falling in and maybe even take a couple out of the park.
Yeah, that would make it less likely that he'd have to lie for too much longer. That ball's hit pretty well. Deep right center field. Way back. Goodbye.
Fans been waiting to cheer for that one of those.
Nice going, Em. Great timing. Prince Fielder gets the Rangers on top 1-0. His first Ranger home run.
That was a rope. Got out of here in a hurry. That was a line shot 10 rows back in center field. Got everybody smiling.
Goodness gracious.
Biggest smile is Prince's.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Do I get any sort of credit
Oh,
for this?
yeah, definitely. That's on you.
Just making sure.
You got it.
Yeah, why don't you just take over? I mean, if you're going to get that kind of results every time, heavens. That's great. 416 feet worth of line drive. And the Rangers on top. There's a drive. And Kuzminoff deep left. Looking up is Bloomquist. Goodbye. Back-to-back 2-0 Rangers.
Well, Prince had a big smile on his face. I'm sure Kevin's going to have one on his as well. Coming into the game, the Rangers had only hit 5 home runs all season long.
Look,
Knox got the ball.
Yeah,
How about that? Landed right in this guy's glove, and I stole it from him, guys.
Now let's see if we make it 3 in a row. Here's Mitch Moreland. Mitch has a home run to his credit this year. Hitting .229 and handling the DH George tonight. One ball and one strike. 405 feet. The tail of the tape on Kuzminoff's home run. That was a sinker that never had a chance to sink. Bevan with the 1-1 pitch. Now 2-1. That thing looked like
It's our boy out there.
Yeah.
Didn't have to run on the hill to get it.
That thing looked like it had a booster rocket on it. Man. Oh, and Mitch had designs on a trio of clouts that fouled it back, and it's 2-2. Kuzminoff. Inside part of the plate. 405. First time the Rangers this year have had a multiple home run game. That's hard to believe. That's 7 total for the year. And Moreland hits it hard. Oh, nice play by Smoke on the backhand. And he beats Moreland to the bag.
Where's Knox? Knox came into the picture after that. Took it right out of his hands.
Nice of Knox there. He gave it back.
Is that a cutout?
I don't know. The one out here is Donnie Murphy. Murphy at .231 with the average. And he takes ball 1. First runs the Rangers have scored for Robbie Ross while he's been in a game this year. Those are certainly the 2 loudest runs that the Rangers have scored.
Yeah, they weren't ones that just scraped the back of the fence. They were gone the minute they made contact with him.
Prince Fielder, Elvis Andrus. Murphy with no home runs, but he has driven in 4. Bevan back to the plate. Didn't want to do it on the breaking ball, but Murphy now down in the hole at 1-2. Fewest home runs in the American League. Kansas City still with just 1.
How
the
about
Rangers
Kansas
now
City?
7.
They got a pretty good offensive team, too. Wow.
They are just been in a miserable slump.
They shut it down right after surprise Arizona closed down. They were a pretty good team in spring training.
You need to go out and play the Diamondbacks or somebody out there.
Man. They got some guys who were pounding the ball for 30 games in spring training and haven't done anything yet.
Bevan's 2-2 pitch. That's popped up. Shallow right field coming on. Stefan Romero. And Romero makes the grab. That is out number 2, and it'll bring up Leonis Martin.
Batting 8th, the center fielder, Leonis Martin.
Martin coming to the plate when the base is empty. And Leonis at 268 now. We marked last night. Boy, it's been a big roller coaster ride for Leonis Martin this year. Started off with a 4-game hitting streak and hitting right at 400, then dropped off the face of the earth for a few games. Came back, and now he's hit just about 300 for his last 5 games. At home, he has been extremely good. 391 is average here at Globe Life Park. Takes that breaking ball that stays wide. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And if you're wondering, that 391 good for 6th in the American League in home average. 1-1 pitch. 2-1. The home run men, Prince Fielder and Kevin Kuzminoff. Check swing, and the ball is high. 3-1. So Martin trying to extend this second inning. If he gets aboard, Robinson Chirinos is going to be next. Bevan's next offering. There's a high drive to right. Going back is Romero. He is at the wall and is up against the wall. He makes the catch. Well, Leonis Martin a couple of feet shy of making it a threesome in the inning. But the Rangers go back-to-back with Prince Fielder and Kevin Kuzminoff, and they will take a 2-0 lead into the top of the 3rd inning. Chance having it shown on one of our upcoming broadcasts. All that thanks to the good folks at AT&T. Simply use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and we'll start selecting your photos to be aired during the season. A good time to get your photo up there next to a shot of Prince Fielder. So Robbie Ross with a lead to work with. 2-0 Rangers. Mike Zunino, the number 9 man, leading off the Mariner third. Zunino, that long home run last night. Boy, he gets sawed off here. Right near the bag at second. Donnie Murphy has it. And that is out number 1. And that cutter lived up to his name. It almost cut that bat in half. And with 1 out, Abraham Almonte coming up. Let's check in with John Radigan for a Mazda game break. John? All right, John, thank you. Now, Monte, first ball swinging. He will tap out to Kevin Kuzminoff very quickly, 2 outs. And that is now 6 straight ground ball outs for Robbie Ross.
Yeah, I'm kind of keeping track of how many guys he's got that cutter in on the fist and jammed. Romero, Smoke, Bloomquist, and Zunino, 4 of the first 9 hitters got sawed off on that good cutter, jammed him right off the handle of the bat. So that's a great start for Robbie. We mentioned the stuff was really good against the Red Sox, very tough to hit, but he walked 6 and had to throw a lot of pitches. It's one time through the lineup plus 1 batter, and he's thrown 33 pitches. So he had to get his pitch count down, be more efficient, and early in the game, he has done just that.
Brad Miller showing you a bunt. There's tomorrow's starter for the Mariners, Felix Hernandez. 28 years old. He's been in the league since he was about 7, I think.
Feels like it.
He is something. And Robbie Ross is something tonight. Well, he is going right after these guys, and he has Miller down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Miller a strikeout his first time. And he hit him this time. Pitch has got away from Robbie Ross, and down to first goes Brad Miller.
Yeah, that's just one Robbie would want to have back. He's got Brad Miller kind of in his back pocket with a 1-2 count. Having a very difficult time with the slider away. He struck out on it once. He missed it in this at bat. Ball just got away from him. Kind of slipped out of his hand, and he's a little upset with himself for letting that happen.
The 1 on 2 out, and Robinson Cano steps in. Cano had a single to right, left center field. His first time up there. That was one of the 2 hits that the Mariners had in the first. Donnie Murphy backhands and throws to first. That will do it. 3 ground ball outs in the inning. The hit batter Brad Miller left stranded after 2.5. Rangers 2, Mariners nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Now we head to the bottom of the third inning. It'll be Robinson Chirinos to start things off against Blake Bevan. Rangers on the strength of back-to-back home runs from Fielder and Kuzman off last inning. The 2-0 lead, and Chirinos takes a strike on the inside corner. Robinson hitting at 150. Home run, 3 driven in. Loops one the other way down the right side. That's in for a base hit. Stopping at first as Romero gets the ball back, and Chirinos with the 4th hit of the night for all the Rangers against Bevan.
86-mile-an-hour sinker kind of on the inside part of the plate. Robinson slices it into right field, gets that leadoff hitter aboard. Try to add to the 2-0 lead. Nice little rally right here.
With the blue rally towels going.
Yeah, like that.
Looks good with the red Chew t-shirt. There's a base hit to center field. Speaking of Chew, Chirinos to second will put the brakes on, and Shin-Soo Choo a rope right back through the box. 2 on, nobody out for Elvis Andrus.
Well, Bevan is struggling, I guess, with his command in the strike zone. He's throwing a lot of sinkers well up above the knees out over the plate. This one to Choo, pretty much right down the center of the plate. He just rips it back through the middle.
Rick Wade's the pitching coach going out. Tom, you had mentioned 85, 86 miles an hour for Bevan on the fastball, and it wasn't that long ago, 2 years ago or so, we saw him, you know, in the low 90s pretty consistently.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see his velocity where it is, and I think if you go back to when he was in high school, it was probably, you know, 91, 94-ish, sometimes maybe a little higher than that.
Right.
So it was down a little bit, but 89 to 92. Now his fastball, at least in this game, into the third inning, is right around 86. They're throwing more of a sinker now. But the Rangers have taken advantage of some of those sinkers that have been up and well above the knees and out over the plate. Hit the ball pretty hard.
The back-to-back singles. Elvis up there. And the Mariners playing in at the corners just in case there's a bunt. Elvis had a base hit his first time. No bunt here, and he fouls it off to the right. Trying to take a shot that way, and it is 0-1. Elvis walking around behind home plate, checking with Gary Pettis down at third base. See if Ron Washington might want to put something on. Pettis letting the base runners know, hey, make the ball go through if it's a line drive. Bevan, a check of Chirinos at second. And hits the outside corner about thigh high. 0-2. Elvis with that base hit. Average back up over 300 now, 308. As he faces Bevan here in the third inning. Way outside. Elvis taking it. 4-1. Rangers now 5 hits in the ball game. 2 of them left the yard, which is the good news. They've got first and second, nobody out here in the third. Bevan set. And the 1-2. Ground ball, a double play off the Miller, right to Cano, and they turn it over.
I've seen everything.
That's going to be a 6-4-3, but that's not your typical 6-4-3.
He couldn't have caught the ball and flipped it better than that. Instead, it caroms off his body right to Cano. If that doesn't go to Cano, it rolls out into right field, and it's probably first and third, second and third with a run in. Watch this. Hits the heel of his glove, hits his chest, just like they planned it that way. Wow.
Boy, and that could be the one tonight on Fox Sports Live. Holy cow.
That, I mean, it looks like a routine double play. It's not like the Rangers shouldn't have had a double play, but Miller boots the ball basically, and Cano coming over to turn the double play, is right there to catch the carom off his chest.
Alex Rios takes up and in. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Looked like Brad Miller hit the eject button, and that thing just shot over to Cano.
It did.
Wow. Rios 0 for 1 tonight. A ground ball to short. Back in the first inning. Chirinos at third, 2 outs. 2-0 pitch. And 3 balls and no strikes. Rios way ahead in the count, trying to get aboard. Prince Fielder waits to be next. Bevins 3-0 pitch. Rios, highest average against the Mariners in his career, 322. That's as highest as he's had against anybody. He gets fisted on that and chops it foul down the third baseline. Well, the count fills. Have to get a new piece of lumber. Now Alex with a new weapon going up there. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Robinson Chirinos at third base. And Bevin sets. We'll try it again. Rios had pretty good success last year, too, in a dozen ball games against the Mariners. He had 3 home runs. Looking to pick up Chirinos here in the third inning. Ball hit pretty well to left field. Bloomquist is going back. He stops just shy of the track and makes the catch. Now the side retired. Rangers get a couple of hits. Strander runner. We're going to the fourth. It's the Rangers 2, the Mariners nothing on Fox Sports Southwest.
Life Park. I think we have the Shin Soo Choo fan club here, the entire left field, and we have Ted Kim of the Korean Society. What's this all about?
Tonight is True Blue Fever! Yeah!
Who do we have out here?
We have everyone who's anyone from the Korean community. We have over 1,000 crazy Korean Americans out here cheering on Chu.
So far, all game long, you guys have been doing what? Give us a little sample of your work.
Okay, so we've got some artistic stuff. We've got some low-down, mean-hearty power stuff. Yeah!
And you got the Chu chant going, huh?
Yeah, so let's do it. Everyone, 1, 2, 3, Chu, Shin, Soo,
So, Buzz, he'll keep it going all game long for you, okay?
Hey, that's great.
That guy ought to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah. That's right in the stands above where Chu is stationed out there in left field.
He's got some great fans on his side out there.
Corey Hart flies to center field to start things, and with one out now, Stephen Romero in his second at bat. Romero grounded out to shortstop back in the first inning. Rangers 2 runs on 5 hits. Mariners no runs on a couple of hits. 0-2 the count. Robbie much more aggressive in the strike zone tonight.
Definitely.
That one bounces up there, and it's 1-2. And that's, I know, Tom, you and I talked about it in Boston about it looked like Robbie was trying to pitch in a manner that he was not used to, trying to be somebody that he wasn't instead of being that bulldog out there in the mound.
Yeah, there were times it looked like he was being a little too careful, maybe.
Ground ball hit into center field. It's in for a base hit. Phil Romero with a 1-out single is aboard, and Kyle Seager coming up.
Third baseman Kyle Seager.
Well, fans, you can use the online coupon code Ozarka at TexasRangers.com/specials, and you'll save 50% in select seating areas for most Tuesday games this season. Get your half-price tickets for Tuesday, April 29th. Rangers take on the Oakland A's that night. Oakland's first visit to town, so get your Ozarka seats for that game. Seager takes a breaking ball that comes over the outside corner for strike one.
Yeah, Robbie's been working that slider nicely to the left-hand hitters.
Like when he's able to get that over first pitch, that sets up a whole at bat for him to do something different than guys have seen. Tried the fastball down and away. 1-1 to Seager, who grounded out to Prince Fielder at first, leading off the second. And our Steel pitch tracker tonight, showing you the location of the first 2 pitches. Ross ready, a check of first, and a little bluff move over there as Romero scampering back. Ross, a long look into Chirinos. Now he's ready. And Seager pops it up. Backpedaling. Donnie Murphy, the second baseman, peering up into the twilight. Makes the grab. That is out number 2. Romero staying at first. And it'll bring up Justin Smoke.
First baseman Justin Smoke.
Looked like Donnie didn't exactly know for sure where that ball was part of the time.
That's what about that time of night, Buzz, where the sky is a grayish color that's very similar to the color of the ball. Looks a little bluer right there than it does when you look up to it. And so the ball tends to blend into the sky a little bit right about now. A lot of times you'll have the outfielder yell into the infield. If you can see it, keep coming, because I'm having a hard time picking it up.
Yeah.
But you're right on that one. The guy Donnie was having a little problem making sure where that ball was.
Smoke, a ground ball to short, his first time up there. 1 on, 2 out. Robbie Ross trying to work around the 1-out single by Romero. Breaking ball comes in a bit low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Robbie, 47 pitches thus far, 29 strikes, 18 balls. Infield, a step or so around to the left. Or the switch hitting Smoke, who's up there from the right side. 1-0 pitch, way inside. Got him jackknifing out of the way. Smoke part of that trade along with Blake Bevan. 2010 went to Seattle. The return of Cliff Lee from the Mariners to the Rangers. And Lee, of course, a big part of the Rangers' first foray to the World Series in 2010. Mariners had real high hopes for restocking a couple of key positions out of a starting pitcher and a power hitting first baseman, and just hasn't worked out quite the way they had envisioned yet. Where Smoke and Bevan still relatively young.
Well, the one thing Justin's had is he's had a great opportunity with Seattle to blossom. He's been able to play regularly for 4 years. And he's had, somewhere between 1,600 and 1,700 big league at bats without having to worry about any competition taking his job.
Up the middle, Murphy behind second, going to the bag. He wins that race. He got the sliding Romero. Nice play by Donnie Murphy to get the force. And the Mariners are gone in the top of the fourth inning. They strand a runner at the 3.5. Rangers 2, partially because of that man, Prince Fielder, who's leading off the inning. Mariners nothing. I want you to watch Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. Now, bottom of the fourth inning, Ranger captain taking the folks around. During the half inning, Prince Fielder leading things off. Hit a mammoth home run to dead center field his first time. And Bevan hits the outside corner. It is 0-1. So Fielder now hitting at 192, a home run and 4 RBI, and it's great to see something other than a 0 on that home run column. Waiting for the big guy to get going, and the way his track record suggests that may just be the start of it here for the next few weeks. 20 regular season games since he had hit his last home run. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That steel tracker showing you that Bevan trying to work away from the big man. The 1-2. Down the left side, and that is slicing and will go back into the seats. Bloomquist over to take a look, but that's about 3 rows back. Shift on for the Mariners, and it's not the routine shift where everybody slides over. The shortstop, Brad Miller, is still playing shortstop, and what they've done is they've taken the third baseman, Kyle Seager, and put him in the normal second base spot with Cano out in shallow right. That's high and away, and the count evens at 2-2. There's Seager, the third baseman, who's playing right at the edge of the outfield grass in a normal second baseman location. Bevan winds, and the 2-2 pitch is coming. Got him swinging. Bevan a little backdoor hook, and Prince Fielder gone on strikes for Bevan, his first strikeout. One gone, and Kevin Kuzminoff now coming up.
Definitely the first two fastballs were away, and then that breaking ball was a very well located breaking ball down, and technically a strike, probably wouldn't have been called a strike, but right where he wanted to throw it. After that home run, he was going to make sure that if he hit the ball, he was going to have to hit it to left field, tailing it and keeping it away.
Now Kuzminoff hit the ball to left field his first time. He hit it about 10 rows deep. 405 feet to straightaway left. His first home run in a Ranger uniform, and he has now hit safely in the first 6 games that he's played. He's going to be 1 for 2 as he flies out to Romero in right field. And with 2 gone, Mitch Moreland will come up. Well, Bevan, 2 guys that touched him for home runs the first time. He was making sure they didn't get the same location of pitches they drove out of the park.
Yeah, after Chu singled hard up the middle, first and second, nobody out, double play, and 3 quick outs after that. So he's settled down a little bit.
Mitch Moreland robbed by Justin Smoke down at first base. Check swing, it's a strike, 0-1. Moreland hit a rope to the backhand of Smoke, and Justin Smoke, one of the better fielding first basemen around, able to corral it and take it to the bag.
The first time through the lineup, there were a lot of sinkers up and out over the plate in the hitting zone. This inning, you can tell that he's making a concerted effort to get good movement on his sinker and make sure he keeps it away and away from the middle of the plate.
Zunino sets that target right outside. 1-1 pitch. And Moreland laces it to center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Well, Mitch went out and got it. And he is aboard with a 2-out single.
Second baseman, Donnie Murphy.
It's pretty good movement on it. Actually kept it out there where he wanted to. But Mitch was still able to hit a pitch that was a couple inches outside and find a hole in left center field.
Well, Moreland aboard. That is the 6th hit of the night for the Rangers. 2 outs. Donnie Murphy, a fly ball to right his first time up there. 1 ball, no strikes. Now looking at that at bat from Moreland too, and that's one of the problems you have when you've lost the velocity that Bevan has. Pitching inside doesn't have the same effect. You can pitch inside all you want to at 86, and guys don't pay any attention to it. So it's hard to keep guys from going out away from you to the outside corner. You get that fastball at 91, 92 inside, and now you open a guy's eyes a little bit, and he's not quite as likely to go out and take the outside pitch the other way. There goes the runner. Pitches grounded back to Bevan. He had no idea where it was, but recovers in time to throw out Donnie Murphy. Side retired. The Rangers get a hit, but strand a runner. We're going to the 5th. It's Texas 2, Seattle nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. 2-0 lead the Rangers have given him. And as always on our Fox Sports Southwest telecast here at home, joining us for the 5th inning, Mark McLemore, the doctor of defense. Mac, again, pulling double duty or triple duty or however many different jobs you've got going tonight. But good to see you. And you scored a couple of runs tonight, which was nice. I appreciate that a little bit earlier than you had been.
I did.
You've been waiting too late in the game to get to the.
I have been. I wanted to get have a little bit of cushion when I got here in the 5th inning. So, fellas broke out the big bats.
Yeah, they did. How about Prince? Huh?
I'll tell you what. I'm waiting for him to hit one up on top of that roof.
There's a good chance he's going to.
He wasn't very far with that last one. I'll tell you that.
If you got it a little higher, it might have carried out there.
I think if he gets somebody out there on the mound with a little bit more emphasis, he can reach it.
I think you're right. You get a little warmer weather. Get some backspin on that thing. He's certainly strong enough. There's no doubt about that.
Wow.
Willie Bloomquist leading things off for the Mariners. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Robbie Ross back to the plate and fires a strike. And Ross picking up right where he left off in Boston, but he's in the strike zone more often this time.
He is definitely in the strike zone more today and jumping out ahead of hitters, being aggressive, getting strike one, and just going after him.
Good fastball, kind of tied up Bloomquist. It's 2-2. Bloomquist, ground ball to the right side, his first time up there. Robbie went through that streak of 6 straight hitters where he got ground balls, and most of them were on the fists of right-handed hitters. That goes to the aggressiveness you're talking about, Mac, to run that ball in pretty much at will with that cutter.
That's a very good pitch for Robbie. He throws hard enough, and it has enough late movement where hitters really can't do anything. They think it's out over the middle of the plate, and all of a sudden, they're looking out there in front of home plate for their knuckles.
That ball that he just fouled off went right at Emily over there in the camera booth.
Wow.
Did Emily take your advice and bring a glove?
I don't think she has a glove, but I don't see her anymore. I hope it didn't hit her.
Oh, here she comes.
There she is.
I'm good. I was actually looking for the ball, fellas.
Oh, okay. Didn't hit you, did it?
Yep, it didn't get me. Didn't get me. Yep, good. We're all good. Batting 1,000 tonight with that Prince home run and avoiding the foul ball.
Elvis charging, unloads on the money. That is out number 1. Now the number 9 hitter, Mike Zunino, coming up. Mac, I don't know if you've had enough of a chance to talk to the guys with the Mariners about how they feel about their club, but there has to be a little more excitement for Seattle with what they've got going, Cano and Hart and the folks that they have to feel like they've kind of turned the corner, so to speak, as an organization.
Well, they're definitely getting to that corner, and I got a chance to talk to Lloyd McClendon yesterday, and he's excited about this ball club. We've got a lot of nice, young, solid players that are coming up. Justin Smokes looks like he's starting to understand what hitting at the big league level is all about, and of course, you've got Cano out there.
A pop up that Chirinos takes a look at, but it's 5 rows back.
You've got Cano out there as a superstar. You've got King Felix on the mound that leads this staff. Zunino's a nice, solid player. You've got Seager out there. You've got Almonte in center field. So they've got a nice young nucleus that's understanding how to play the game. Now, I'm not saying they're going to run away with the West. I think they're just happy that they're a better team, a much improved ball club from last year.
Ross back to the plate, and a fly ball to center. Just about dead in his tracks. Leonis Martin puts it away. Zunino retired. 2 gone for Abraham Almonte.
Center fielder Abraham Almonte.
Well, we mentioned to folks that tomorrow night now, Rangers will be on Fox Sports Southwest Plus. And for you folks that are on Time Warner cable, that's channel 906. For Charter, standard definition is channel 300. HD is 776. We'll get that back for you in just a second. DirecTV, I believe, was next, and we have that at 676-2, and then Dish Network is 444. AT&T Uverse and numbers there, and of course Verizon Fios at 77 or 577 in HD. Almonte, soft ground ball, single to center field, so he is aboard with 2 outs. And Brad Miller coming up. And the Ford leaderboard, tomorrow's matchup, man on your right, that would be King Felix. Felix Hernandez, 469 strikeouts since the start of 2012. Yu Darvish leads everybody with 513. How about that?
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I would think so.
And you got 2 of those 4 leaders on the same team, on the same staff.
Yeah, he's got those in fewer innings, too. His strikeouts per 9 innings are way up there.
Brad Miller hit by a pitch last time, struck out his first time. Got Almonte at first with 2 outs, playing in the top of the 5th inning. A good breaking ball that comes through the front door. It is 1-1. Miller at .218 with the batting average. Ross a check of first. And he will go that way with a little toss just to make sure that Almonte didn't feel neglected over there.
The Mariners have only stolen 3 bases. They've been thrown out 4 times. Almonte stolen 1, been thrown out once. He's stolen over 200 bases in the minor leagues, though, so he's got some base stealing ability.
Trying to bunt it over the mound, and Robbie Ross reverses his field very nicely. Nice play by the 24-year-old left-hander. Mariners are gone in the 5th. They strand 1 on a base hit. We played half the ball game. It's the Rangers 2, the Mariners nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Fair out there in center field. The view comes standard. The food's a little more expensive out there. It's good. You get that view thrown in for free. Rangers have driven Blake Bevan from the game. He gets 4 innings, and now Dominic Leone, right-hander, on to take over here in the 5th.
He's been in 3 games, only for 4 1/3 innings. Opponents in a short sample have only hit 133 against him. Good opportunity maybe to get a couple of innings under his belt. Stretched out a little bit coming in here in the 5th inning. Not sure if there's anything wrong with Blake Bevan coming out after 4 innings. Physically, generally you would think there might be coming out after 4 innings. It's only a 2-0 ball game. If we hear anything, we'll let you know.
Well, Leone taking over, and he will face Leonis Martin to start things off. And Robinson Chirinos will follow, and then it's back to the top of the order for Shin-Soo Choo. So the book for Bevan, 4 innings of work, 6 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned on the 2 home runs. No walks, 1 strikeout. Martin stepping in, 0 for 1, a fly ball to very deep right field. He sent Romero all the way back to the wall and plastered him right up against the wall to haul in his fly ball. Trying to bunt and fouls it off to the left side. It is 0-1.
Seager made a great play on him last night on what looked like a bunt that was good enough to be a base hit. And he's not going to be surprised if he tries to bunt again. To get one by Seager, to bunt one and get a base hit towards Seager, it's got to be a pretty good bunt. He made a beautiful play last night.
Got him on the fist. You try that one. It's right by the bag. And Seager throws him out. Well, you pull him in with an attempted bunt and hope to slap one by him, but getting jammed to try it is not
got to slap it a little harder than that.
Yeah.
Not quite the way to do it.
Well, one gone. Here comes Robinson Chirinos, who singled, leading off the Ranger third. Chirinos now with the batting average up to 190. Remember the home run that he hit. Big ball game, the game the Rangers won in Fenway Park. He had a solo blast. As a matter of fact, he was part of that 5-run inning that the Rangers put together. Came up twice in that frame, had the home run and then a bases loaded walk. Leon with a 1-0 pitch. Fouled at home plate. Since that home run, though, Chirinos had only had one hit in his next 9 at-bats. The hit tonight is second in 10 at-bats. Fouls that pitch back. It's 1-2. Chirinos starting his 6th game at catcher for the Rangers. Last year he appeared in 13 games for Texas. Check swing on the breaking ball, and the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Leon, that high set, back to the plate he comes, and just a little bit off the plate. The count is full. So Chirinos with 1 out trying to get aboard. The top of the order, and Shin-Soo Choo waits to be next. Payoff pitch coming to Chirinos. Got him swinging.
Pretty good fastball right there at 95 miles an hour.
A little high heat, and that was it. Before we tell you about Choo, let's head to a Mazda game break with John Radigan. John? All right, John, thank you. 457. My goodness.
Just like I used to hit them.
I saw you hit a couple. I don't think they were 457, but I saw
Well, they were. I had to hit it twice, but
go out to second base and see if you get it from out there.
That's exactly what I did. Actually, I went out a little further. I got a shallow center field. That's
Well, they don't count anymore, though, if you hit them that far. They should.
They don't. They should.
1-1 to Choo. Now 1-2.
Got pretty good life on his fastball. Mid-90s.
Kind of look like mid-100s after following Bevan in there.
Yeah, about 10 miles an hour different.
Yeah. Choo 1 for 2 tonight. A fly ball to center and a single to center. Ooh, he got jammed there and a broken bat roller back to the mound. That'll do it. Rangers out in order. Mac, thanks very much for joining us. We will see you after the ball game on Rangers Live.
All right. See ya.
2-0 Texas on to the 6th. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. The Rangers taking that 2-0 lead into the 6th inning behind Robbie Ross. Ross will face the heart of the Mariner order. Robinson, Cano, Corey Hart, and Stephen Romero. Cano, 1 out of 2, singled back in the 1st inning. He takes the breaking ball that hangs inside to him. 1 ball and no strikes. Cano hitting at .333 in the season. 2-0. Robbie approaching 70 pitches, 67 as of now. 43 strikes and a shot up the middle on the outfield grass. Elvis, long throw, and Cano is retired. Nice play by Elvis Andrus. And before Corey Hart steps in, let's go and say hello to Jim Knox again. Jim.
I appreciate it, Buzz. Something really special new here at Globe Life Park, right here center field, the L Center Field House. This is Sean Maddox, General Manager of Sports Services. We have the frozen beer. Tell us about this, Sean.
Absolutely. You know, the weather right now is pretty nice, but a few months from now we're going to be in the dog days of summer, and we're trying to come up with something to help the fans cool off. So what we've done is we've got one of 3 machines in the United States that actually freezes beer down to takes beer down to 23 degrees. So what we do is we fill it up with draft beer that's already ice cold, and then top it with the beer slushy on top. Great for the summertime weather.
There we go. Center field L House, and right now we're going to give this to one lucky fan after Elvis gets him out at first. Very nice. There you go. How about a frozen beer, sir? Best dressed guy in the house right here. You bet.
Go Rangers. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. There you go. All right.
Yeah, you can.
A straw? Are you kidding me? You don't need a straw.
Or a much bigger mouth. Heck no, man.
Chug it. Guy gets a free frozen beer and catches grease. No, 2 gone. Here's Stephen Romero, and he fouls back the first pitch from Robbie Ross.
You know, Buzz, we were talking before the game of the progress that Robbie has made as a starter. It's only 2 starts, but things were getting better. And, boy, he stepped it up today.
Yeah.
You know, we said he had to get further into the game, keep his pitch count down, throw more strikes. And, man, that's exactly what he's doing.
How about that? 72 pitches, and he is through 6 innings. That's a 7-pitch 6th inning for Ross on 3 ground balls. Mariners gone after 5.5. Rangers 2, Mariners nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. To you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $1,400 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Ray Lowry from Peaster, Texas. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Ray Lowry from Peaster will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, you've got some of the big guys coming up that are perfectly capable of slamming one out of here. Elvis Andrus takes a strike from Dominic Leone. Be Andrus, Rios, and Fielder, the first three to do the thumping here in the 6th inning.
Leone was a 16th round draft choice in 2012, so it didn't take him long to get to the big leagues. Well hit ball on that cutter. Unfortunately, it's right straight at the shortstop Miller. He went to Clemson, where he's a teammate of the shortstop Brad Miller. And you have to think that maybe he was a starting pitcher at Clemson that didn't throw quite this hard, but you find a reliever consistently throwing 95 miles an hour. Generally, you would think he'd be a little bit more than a 16th round draft choice. A pretty good arm.
Another line drive.
Catch that one.
This one gets over Miller's glove. Yeah, Alex is going to turn to the dugout here in a second and say, see, that's all you have to do, Elvis.
Hit it about a foot higher than that.
A little more elevation. Oh, Rios with his first hit of the night. Rangers now with 7 safeties. 1 on, 1 out. Prince Fielder coming up.
Buzz, I want to say a little shout out after we look at this replay. Elvis is kind of right at him. He had to jump for it. Alex's is a little bit to the left. Had to jump up and sideways. I don't know if it was higher, but it was a little bit more away from him, maybe.
Let's see, Alex is about 6 inches taller than Elvis, and he had that head start. That's what got him the hit. Fielder, the long home run, his first time up. His first in a Ranger uniform this year. And he takes on the outside corner for a strike.
I was mentioning that I would like to recognize 4 people. We have great fans that watch our telecasts. Many of them are seniors who watch every inning of every game, live and die with the team, love the players. And we appreciate the support from all of you very much for watching all the games.
Rios on the move. Zunino's throw is in time. They get him. Now, that was a great throw by Zunino and a slap tag out there by the shortstop, Brad Miller. And Ron Washington, I think, is going to take the slow walk out to second. It looked like, as high as the throw was, that it would have been tough to get the tag down on him in time. We'll take a look. Nope.
That's a second great throw by Zunino. Yeah. Zunino threw out Elvis in the 3rd inning on a breaking ball down and away, which he just stabbed, stepped, and threw. That time the ball was a little bit to his left. He reached for it and then threw the same strong, accurate throw right on the bag. That will not be a replay. As soon as Wash looks in and they get a chance to look at it, I'm pretty sure that'll be one where he turns around and comes back. It's probably say a nice call out at second base. Boy, we've seen 2 good examples of the strength of Mike Zunino. But anyway, just to follow up on the seniors, I've got 4 pen pals that have written to me over the years that I want to recognize. The first one is Bob Campbell. He's 90 years old from Wichita Falls. He's a true baseball philosopher and historian. Bob, I appreciate all the correspondence. Next one is Carolyn Schaefer. She's from Athens, Texas. She's my poet friend. Writes great poems that I appreciate very much. Another man that poses great baseball questions, John Zierfus from Garland, Texas. And I'm going to get to the last one next inning. Didn't get a chance to finish them. I'll save one for last.
All right. Fielder gone, and the Rangers get a hit, but get a runner thrown out. So we have finished 6. It remains the Rangers 2, the Mariners nothing on Fox Sports Southwest.
Look at some of the things that have made Robbie successful through 6 innings. 12 ground ball outs. 6 of them we're going to watch are balls right in on the fist. Cutters that have jammed the right-hand hitters. He's been very adept at doing that so far in the ball game. A lot of weak outs, a lot of quick outs. His pitch count is low. He's pitched through 6 innings. So far through 6 innings, 12 ground ball outs and only 4 balls in the air to go along with a couple of strikeouts. And that's what the line looks, only 4 hits, and so far a nice job by Robbie.
Our 4-game summary, Robbie Ross Jr. making the back-to-back home runs by Fielder and Kuzminoff. Stand up. We're in the 2nd inning, and Robbie going to work now in inning number 7. Kyle Seager to lead things off. Ross at 73 pitches, 47 strikes. Seager 0 for 2, a ground out and a pop out. And a 2-hopper right down to Prince Fielder. Easy play at first base, 1 away.
That's another one we could have added to that little video montage we had for Robbie.
Well, the first inning was the most pitches at 17. Other than that, well, it has been, he's had a couple of innings where he's been below 8 and below. That is really efficient. And that's also, Tom, that's going back to establishing your stuff in the strike zone, getting guys to swing early in the count.
No doubt. And his bread and butter today, I think, Buzz, has been what has made him successful as a reliever. Basically, it's his good fastball, his cutter, but he's mixed in a little bit in the way of a changeup, a little bit in the way of a curveball. He's thrown some sliders. There's another slider. But basically, most of those pitches we showed that have gotten those weak ground balls have been his good fastball in on the fist of the right-hand hitters.
Yeah, I agree with you. And
I think you said that last time. You can't get away from what makes you successful. And maybe he's adding a little to it, but bread and butter has been what's made him successful over the first couple of years.
No, you're right. And, there's a little window dressing, a little change of speed that guys haven't seen before. You have to do that as a starter. But you don't get away from the basic idea of how you want to pitch. 2-1 to Smoke. And there's a slow chopper out to Elvis. Has time. Smoke not the most fleet of foot. And Elvis throws on to first. Another ground ball out. There are 2 gone for Willie Bloomquist.
I want to finish my shout-out, Buzz. The last one that I'd like to mention, if you follow the Fort Worth Star-Telegram closely, you probably read about her several days ago. She's a former math teacher at Pasco High School. She's 103 years old. Her name is Elizabeth Sullivan. And Elizabeth, I hope you're watching tonight. I just want you to know, along with John Zierfus, Carolyn Schaefer, and Bob Campbell, how much I appreciate all the correspondence and how much the Rangers appreciate you being such great Ranger fans, following the team so closely. And to all the seniors out there who watch every game and watch every inning, we appreciate you.
Ditto from me.
We're seniors.
That's
we
right.
Appreciate seniors appreciating seniors.
Now, Bloomquist able to sneak a ground ball through the left side. So he is aboard with a 2-out base hit. That is just the 5th hit of the night. Well, fans, this Friday, that's April the 18th, Rangers taking on the Chicago White Sox. And it's the first post-game fireworks show of the year. It's presented by Windmill Suites. Fireworks show is set to music from your favorite comedy movies. And Chuck Morgan does a great job with that. Get $15 upper reserve seats using the coupon code FIREWORKS at TexasRangers.com/specials.
All right, a 2-0 game. This is a guy you have to be careful with. He's batting 9th in the lineup, but he's got some power. We saw him launch one up on Greens Hill yesterday, about 2/3 of the way up it. So you have to make a good pitch to him.
Zunino is grounded to second and flied to fairly deep center.
That's a pretty good pitch.
That's a real good pitch. Elvis plants, throws, and got it. Great play by Elvis Andrews from shallow left field, throwing out Zunino. Well, great defense, great pitching for the Rangers. Stretch time at Globe Live Park. And we've got a possible challenge coming here. We're going to get Lloyd McClendon going out and talking to Ted Barrett, the first base umpire. So they're going to hold the defensive team in place. The Rangers will be asked to come back out on the field. If there is a challenge, they'll have to stay out there.
Let's see if he kept his foot on the bag. No challenge.
Nope, not going to do it. That replay right here shows you it's in the glove, the foot's on the bag, and we're going to go to a break.
Thank you very much.
2-0 Rangers on Fox Sports Southwest. TNT U-verse Rewind. Take you back to 2009 on this date, Jackie Robinson Day, and the Baltimore Orioles in town, Ian Kinsler. A 6-for-6 cycle at Globe Life Park. And what a way to celebrate the immortal Jackie Robinson. Happened right here 5 years ago on this date. The headlong dive by Ian Kinsler, emulating Jackie Robinson. One of the slides that you saw Robinson make. And Kinsler proudly wearing that number 42 like everybody else does on this day, and hit for the cycle. What a way to celebrate this in Ranger history. Well, we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Joe Beimel, familiar face for Ranger fans, on the hill now for Seattle. He'll face Kevin Kuzminoff, Mitch Moreland, and Donnie Murphy. First ball down the line, a fair ball off the bat of Kuzminoff and into the corner for extra bases. Lundqvist plays it back in, and Kevin Kuzminoff, a home run in the 2nd, and now a leadoff double in the 7th.
Well, the way Robbie's pitching 2-0 feels pretty good, but with 2 innings to go, it definitely wouldn't hurt to add some insurance. You got the leadoff man at 2nd. And now it's just a matter of trying to get him over to 3rd and bring him home. A great shot of a fair ball right over the bag. An umpire with a look at it, signaling fair. And Kevin Kuzminoff coasting into 2nd base with a double.
Paul Schreiber making that call down there at 3rd base. And so Kuzminoff now at 2nd, nobody out. Here's Mitch Moreland. Moreland around to bunt, and he gets the bunt down. It's a good one. Seager to 1st. And they get Moreland, but Mitch gets the sacrifice down. And Moreland facing a tough left-hander in Beimel, getting the job done by moving Kuzminoff to 3rd with 1 away.
That's a perfect bunt. You want to bunt it so the 3rd baseman has to field it, which ensures that the runner will get safely to 3rd base. And that's really all Mitch has to do when he bats with a shift on and the shortstop way behind 2nd base. It doesn't have to be a drag bunt like you're bunting for a base hit. You could square around like you're sacrificing, just bunt it hard right to 3rd base, and you got a base hit. So maybe Mitch, with that sacrifice bunt, can pick up a little tip on how to get a base hit when the shift is on.
Now Donnie Murphy up there, and with the runner at 3rd, the infield pulled all the way in. With Donnie Murphy up there. Murphy 0 for 2, a fly out and a ground out. Rangers trying to add to their 2-0 lead. A good look at the infield. All 4 players at the cut of the grass. Weimel working from the stretch. The 36-year-old veteran left-hander comes back to the plate and misses outside. 2-0 to Murphy. Murphy, the last game he started a couple of nights ago, had a sacrifice fly for the only run of the game in that 1-0 Ranger win. That was on Sunday afternoon. The 2-0 pitch is on the way. Pitch out. Nothing happening there.
Not a bad idea. Wash, we've seen them 19 times a year. They know Wash's tendencies and how much he likes the squeeze play, so that's not a bad idea, really.
Boy, McClendon and his cast trying to guess along with Wash, and so far they've been wrong. 3-0 the count. And
they're not taking any chances.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. A semi-intentional walk. It goes down as a non-intentional walk. But
I think they're figuring they've got a left-hand hitter coming up. That's a big run. They want to try to avoid that man from third getting to home. And so they put him on, but not going to see a left-hand hitter right here.
It's going to be Michael Joyce coming off the bench to pinch hit for Leonys Martin. And got a right-hander, Tom Wilhelmsen, up in the bullpen. But they're going to stick with Joe Weimel facing Michael Joyce.
No, Wash hasn't pinch hit very much for Leonys Martin. They probably thought Martin would hit for sure. Be careful.
Weimel, a pretty good move. Remember Michael Joyce, a pinch hit here on Saturday night. A pinch hit home run right into the Ranger bullpen to tie that game at 5 in the 9th inning.
Michael 2 for 4 this year as a pinch hitter.
Johnny Murphy drawing a lot of attention at first base. Michael Joyce up there waiting. First and third with 1 out. Joyce with the 1 home run, a couple of RBI, hitting at .211. Oh, 0-1 the count. Joe Weimel, certainly not a hard thrower anymore. He has been around. Originally came up with the Pirates back in 2001. Has been a reliever ever since that time.
That guy can pick you off when you're not even going if you're not careful.
You sure can. A crafty veteran left-hander.
Yes, sir.
Weimel's also spent time with the Rockies and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Michael Joyce had one up there to work with and fouled it straight back, 0-2.
That was one to get up in the air, drive to the outfield for at least a sacrifice fly to get that run in, which is what he's trying to do. And hit the ball in the air right here.
In the middle infield playing back, they would try for the double play, as Skaggs showing you the location of those 2 pitches that Michael Joyce has seen. Weimel sets. A check of Murphy at second. Got him swinging. They took even more off it. And Michael Joyce down on strikes, 2 away. And Robinson Chirinos coming to the plate. Before Chirinos comes up, we're going to take time for a Mazda game break. Once again, here's John Radigan. All right, John, thank you. Here it's the Rangers leading 2-0. Trying to add more, but it's going to take a 2-out hit by Robinson Chirinos if they are to get that job done. You got Kuzman off at third. Donnie Murphy over at first. Chirinos tonight 1 for 2. Beimel, the veteran left-hander, coming to the plate. And a little squibber off to the right side. Cano, sidearm toss to Smoke, and that'll do it. Rangers waste a golden opportunity. Runners at first and third, 1 out. Can't get the job done. We're going to the 8th. It remains 2-0 Texas. Getting that ball game into the latter stages. The Budweiser pitching line tonight, just 5 hits allowed by Ross. 7 innings of work, no walks, 2 strikeouts. But he has had that buzzsaw pitch going right in on the knuckles of a lot of the Mariner hitters. Induced a lot of ground balls and not a whole lot of hard hit balls against Robbie Ross Jr. tonight. He will face the top of the order, however, here in the 8th inning. So his toughest assignment yet going to be Almonte, Miller, and Cano.
Robbie's had 2 strikeouts and 19 outs put in play. 15 ground balls, 4 balls that have not been ground balls.
Almonte is 1 for 3. Single to center his last time up. Ross' first pitch of the 8th inning is a strike on the inner half.
83 pitches right now for Robbie.
The 0-1. Tried to drop the breaking ball in and left it wide. 1 ball and 1 strike. Almonte, a .222 hitter. And another foul down the third base side. And again, Robbie Ross with the advantage in the count at 1-2. Again, the pitch total, the breakdown, inning by inning. It was 10 last inning. 17 pitches total the last 2 innings. 6th and 7th to get through the 6 outs there. 1-2 to Almonte. Spoiling a pitch up and away, and we'll try it again. There's some casual action starting in the Ranger bullpen. Ross to the line, and another 1-2 tapped right back to him. That's the 3rd one tonight, and a similar result. 1-3 on the putout before Brad Miller steps in. Let's visit with Jim Knox again. Jim.
All right, Buzz, real quick, the progressive fan of the game has to be this cowboy Landon. He comes all the way in from Canada to watch the Texas Rangers, but made a pit stop last night. What was that about, Landon?
I was playing hockey in Corpus Christi, Texas. Took a pit stop to the Rangers. I'm taking a 1,600-mile trip back to Canada. Number 1 team in the league, Texas Rangers, came here, took a horse and buggy here.
All right. Well, good day, mate. Congratulations. Progressive fan of the game. Shout out to who?
Shout out to Nick and Heather, the glass bangers at the Dallas Stars hockey game. Yeehaw, go Rangers!
Yeehaw. There we go, buddy. All right. Appreciate it, Landon. Progressive fan of the game. Buzz.
All right, Noxie, thank you. In the meantime, Brad Miller nicked by a pitch for the second time tonight.
Same pitch, same way. Looked like a hanging curveball. He's trying to throw it down and away, and it just spins out of his hand and nicks him in the right side.
Mike Maddox now going out to the mound to make sure Robbie's okay. Alexei Ogando, meanwhile, has stepped up his loosening tosses out there in the bullpen. Mike checking over to see who's coming up, and it happens to be Robinson Cano. Get a plan in mind, and that's the last thing that Mike wants to impart to Robbie Ross. What are you going to do with Cano? And give me a ground ball right here. We'll turn a double play for you and come on back to the bench.
I think the two at-bats in this game that Robbie will look back on and say the mistakes, recognize the mistakes that he made were the two curveballs that hit Miller. He struck him out, tried to bunt and popped it up. Looked like he had his number pretty well. Just threw him a couple of pitches that got away from him. First one didn't do any damage, happened in the third inning. And he should be able to pitch around this one too.
He drops that breaking ball in for a strike. Cano has grounded out twice and singled to center field. Rangers looking for the double play ball. And Cano skies one to center. Michael Choice started back, now has to come on. The ball kind of dying out there. And Michael makes the catch. That's out number 2. And Corey Hart now coming up. And with Hart coming in, Ron Washington said, that's enough. Robbie, you've done a great job, 90 pitches worth. No walks tonight, allowing just the 5 base hits. And he's going to leave with the tying run coming to the plate. And Alexei Ogando, who has thrown very well his last couple of times out, being summoned by Ron Washington. So Alexei coming in, Robbie Ross, no doubt, will get a rousing standing ovation as he trots off the field. Ron Washington imparting a few of his own thoughts to Robbie Ross Jr. standing on the mound and being congratulated by Elvis Andrus. Nice pat on the back. And the skipper says, yeah, nice going too. And Robbie finished, and he does get a nice standing ovation. Most of the crowd of 26,628 on their feet. A well-deserved ovation for Robbie Ross Jr. Pitching change underway at Globe Life Park. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. No, Alexei Ogando ready in a hurry, and he deals the first pitch to Corey Hart. A breaking ball is a bit low for ball 1. Ogando on with Brad Miller at first. 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Rangers with a 2-0 lead. Robbie Ross, 7 2/3 of excellent work here tonight. Ogando fires a strike in to even the count. Robbie getting congratulations from Benji Molina and the rest of his teammates. 7 2/3, 5 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. A great night for Robbie Ross. Ogando will go first base way to drive Miller back.
Robbie went from 6 walks against the Red Sox, 8 walks in 2 games, no walks tonight. He did exactly what he needed to do to show improvement. Keep his pitch count down and throw quality strikes.
Toward the hole and through to left field for a base hit. Miller will stop at second. A seeing eye ground ball off the bat of Corey Hart found its way through the hole on the left side. So the tying runs are aboard with 2 outs in the 8th inning. And Stephen Romero is going to be called back.
Ball's away, but up a little more than he wanted it to. Didn't break quite as sharply as he wanted it to, but not a hard hit ball. Just ball off the end of the bat that found a hole between Kevin and Elvis. Not much you can do about that. You get the ground ball, but you can't place it toward a fielder.
Well, Romero, the right-hander, pulled back. Lloyd McClendon's going to go with Dustin Ackley, left-handed hitting outfielder. And he represents the go-ahead run in this ball game.
Dustin Ackley, batting for Stephen Romero. Dustin Ackley, batting for Romero.
And Michael Saunders has come in to become a pinch runner at first base. He is running for Corey Hart. Well, Saunders with very good speed at first with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Ackley takes the first pitch from Ogando on the outside corner for strike 1. That's an amazing stat. 53%, better than half of the runs scored by the Mariners have come with 2 outs this year. That's getting some late work in an inning for a rally. Rip and miss at 95. Ackley down in the count.
This is only the 3rd pinch hit appearance for a Mariner. They pretty much stick with what they start out with.
Ackley has had good success against Ogando in the past. He is 3 for 6. Alexi here with the advantage at 0-2 in the count. Right-hander comes back to the plate and is fouled away. And to go upstairs with that fastball, and Ackley able to stay alive.
Good velocity at 95. Still way ahead in the count.
Robbie Ross talking with Jim Adducci there on the top rail of that Ranger dugout. He'll become a cheerleader for Alexi Ogando. Another 0-2 pitch. 1-2. That's a good job by Ogando to go out there and try and get him to go after it. Just out of the strike zone. And Ackley wouldn't do it.
Sure wouldn't have been able to do much with it. It was almost a strike. Closer to a strike than it looked like.
Ogando checked second. And tried to backdoor with a breaking ball and just missed.
That's going to be a pretty close one. That one tried to come back and catch the outside corner. And if it missed, it didn't miss by much. Didn't quite get there. Just stayed up and away.
Well, the count evens at 2-2, and this is the pitch you want to go after Ackley with. You don't want to go to 3-2 with 2 outs and let the runners be on the move. The 2-2. In the air to left field. Chu has room. Started back now, comes on toward the line and puts it away. And Ogando comes in to get the final out of the 8th inning. No runs, a hit. 2 are left. After 7.5, the Rangers 2, the Mariners nothing.
At Globe Life Ballpark in Arlington, 2-0 lead for the Rangers. A crisp, clean night, a crisp, clean game so far, and you just don't want this kind of thing to end. Well, for you, the Rangers viewer, it doesn't have to, because right after the game, it's Rangers Live, presented by Esurance. We'll hear from Ron Washington, some of the players. In fact, Emily will probably talk to Prince again. Mark McLemore will be here with me to do lots of post-game analysis as we continue to celebrate what we hope will be the end to a great game here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, guys.
All right, John, thank you. Well, we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, top of the Ranger order, and they will be facing an old adversary. That's Tom Wilhelmsen. Shin-Soo Choo to start things off. Wilhelmsen is the 4th pitcher used tonight by Lloyd McClendon. First ball swinging. Choo lines the left, but the new left fielder, Dustin Ackley, right in his tracks, makes the catch for out number 1. Yeah, let's take a look at the AT fan photo of the night. Appreciate all of the interest we've had in it. The good folks at AT&T making this possible. And it's from Chad. Nice picture of the Ranger gear and the servicemen. Certainly appreciate that gentleman's service to our country. Hashtag Southwest Fan Photo. And you can submit your photos to us and get them on the air as the season goes on. Here are the numbers for Wilhelmsen. This is 5th appearance. He is unscored upon thus far. And Elvis takes the pitch high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Elvis tonight 1 for 3. He singled back in the first. Also lined sharply to shortstop. The ball right on the button, but right at Brad Miller last time up. A late swing and a miss. Wilhelmsen going away, and it's 1-2 now.
Pretty nice cutter at 92 miles an hour. Wilhelmsen has spent some time as the closer. Generally, when he comes in the game, he exhibits some pretty good stuff. Throws hard.
Back to the plate. And a drive to right center field. That is up the alley. It is down for a hit. Elvis around first, going to second. Bloomquist throw cut off. And Elvis Andrus, an opposite alley double, in scoring position with 1 away.
Hit the curveball. 3rd double for Elvis. Wilhelmsen, a hard throw, also throws a curveball. Launched this curveball on the inside part of the plate, and Elvis is able to slice it into right center field. Right into the gap. Generally, you see the center fielder playing Elvis way around toward right center field. That time, Almonte, if anything, was a little bit on the other side of second base.
Well, here's Alex Rios. Elvis drawing a little concern from Wilhelmsen, who spun around to the inside. Rios, a single his last time up. 1 for 3 tonight. And 1 for 4 in his career against Wilhelmsen. That big breaking ball that's a bit outside. 1-0 the count. Joaquin Soria, the Ranger closer, loosening in the Ranger bullpen. Rios with an average of .283. Elvis getting that lead from second at the bottom of your screen. Drive to right field. Bloomquist had him played perfectly and has to move about 3 steps. And Rios a hard out. 2 gone. Prince Fielder coming up. All right, Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. First. Special delivery. Dead center field. Gone. Right after that, Kevin Kuzminoff, see ya. Airmail. Back-to-back freaky fast, just like Jimmy John. And there was your first one. There's your second one. They have been quite a tag team tonight. And Kevin Kuzminoff's going to get another opportunity as they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Prince Fielder. That was almost a strike.
You saw that college game. I can't remember the 2 teams, but college game ended on an intentional an attempt at an intentional walk. He threw a strike and the hitter hit it out of the ballpark for a walk-off home run.
One of them was either Mississippi or Mississippi State.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
I just saw the highlight. I couldn't tell who was playing. That's a tough way to lose.
And the fourth wide one will put Prince aboard. So first and second with 2 outs. And Kevin Kuzminoff, who is 2 for 3, steps to the plate. AT&T Uber is telling you about tomorrow, and we've got a dandy for you. As good as this one is, look out for Wednesday night, because Felix Hernandez and Yu Darvish will hook it up. Doesn't get much better than that, folks. And don't forget, it's on Fox Sports Southwest Plus, on the plus side tomorrow night. Hernandez 3-0 with 30 strikeouts and 3 starts. Now Wilhelmsen coming to the plate, and the breaking ball in the dirt for ball 1. Kuzminoff, that home run, his first in a Ranger uniform in the second inning. Last time up, doubled to lead off the 7th. The Rangers couldn't get him home. He was stranded at third. He has hit safely in all 6 games for the Rangers since being called up to Boston when Adrian Beltre was hurt. Hits this one well to left center field. Almonte going back into the alley. It's over his head. One hop off the wall. Elvis scores. Prince scores right behind him. Kevin Kuzminoff, his 3rd hit of the night. It's a 4-0 Ranger lead.
That's the big hit. That's the hit the Rangers have been coming up short trying to get. A hit that gives you a little bit of a cushion, a little bit of a comfort zone. And today it's Kevin with a home run and 2 doubles. The fans on their feet. Big hit. Nice going, Kevin. Pitch right down the middle of the plate. A little bit on the outside part of the plate. Center fielder Almonte not playing him that deep. He had a long run and the ball just kept on carrying it pretty well. Couldn't get to it.
Well, the Rangers 4 runs on 10 hits now, and Mitch Moreland takes outside for ball 1.
Look how shallow he's playing. He was playing Elvis a little bit more to pull than that, and just about as deep.
A happy Ranger bench over there, and Mitch Moreland trying to add another one. Rip and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Moreland tonight 1 for 2. Last time up had a sacrifice bunt. Moreland against Wilhelmsen 1 for 8. Kuzminoff getting the lead from second. A swing and a miss. It's 1-2. And now Neil Cox, since the save situation has evaporated, starting to get loose. That's not to diminish the work that Neil does. But, without a save right now, Soria is sitting down. Breaking ball in the dirt, Zunino, a nice job of blocking it. And the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. $26,628 on hand here tonight. And a big full moon rising above the left field stands, and it has been quite a turnout here by the Ranger bats. Nice to see them get things together. Maybe it was that full eclipse last night, the blood moon, the blood full moon, got the Ranger bats going. Payoff pitch on the way. Up the middle. That's off of Wilhelmsen. Into right center field. A base hit. Kuzminoff around third will score. Moreland literally knocks Wilhelmsen to the turf. And the Rangers lead 5-0.
Yeah, that's when you hope he's okay. That was a hard hit ball. Scary moment when you see a ball smashed like that right back at the pitcher. Mitch picks up his 2nd hit of the ball game, picks up his 1st RBI of the ball game. They just get another insurance run, and we'll take a look and make sure Wilhelmsen's okay. Let's see where that ball hit him. Somewhere in the leg, I guess.
Looks like it might have gotten the left knee or somewhere around there. Wilhelmsen's kind of a tall, lanky guy, and he doesn't have, oh, that's the shin.
Left shin.
He doesn't have a whole lot of padding on his legs. That'll rocket off the bat of Moreland.
And then you get a little bit of good fortune because the hop takes it right between the two fielders. Bad luck is it bounces right straight to one of them, just like that ball did to Cano early in the game, turned into a double play.
Well, 5-0 Ranger lead. Moreland at first, still 2 outs. And Donnie Murphy, the hitter, takes strike 1. Murphy drew the intentional walk in the 7th inning. He's 0 for 2 officially. Rangers now 11 hits tonight. Outside from Wilhelmsen. 1-1 the count. Donnie Murphy hitting at .214 as he bats here in the 8th inning. 3 runs across for the Rangers. That ball boring its way in on him, and Donnie Murphy wishing he hadn't swung at it. Now, one more reminder for you tomorrow night. The Rangers going to be on Fox Sports Southwest Plus. On the plus side, Stars will be on the air, their first playoff game as they take on Anaheim. We'll be with you at 6:30 Rangers live, and then 7 o'clock, 7:05 first pitch. Go to foxsportssouthwest.com and check for the channel information where you can find the plus side on Fox Sports Southwest. We'll be with you tomorrow night. Yu Darvish and Felix Hernandez. Got him swinging. Wilhelmsen gets the last out of the inning, but not before the Rangers score 3 times. They had 3 hits and strand 1. We're going to the ninth. It's the Rangers 5, the Mariners nothing. The 16th. It's Nolan Ryan Beef Dollar Hot Dog Night. You see the Rangers and Mariners hook it up at 7:05, and you can also eat all the Nolan Ryan Beef hot dogs you can for just $1 each. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com, and get your seats now and come on out. Get some of those delicious hot dogs and watch your Rangers take on the Mariners.
Buzz, I was talking earlier about the great fans we have among the senior citizens, and there was a couple of senior men out watching the ball game. A couple of younger ones right there, like the hat. Neil Kotz going to be in his 7th ball game. Rangers playing their 14th ball game. Yeah, being half of them.
And Kotz dealing to Kyle Seager. Fires strike 1. Numbers not quite where Neil established his bar with the Rangers last year. Very low were the numbers for Kotz. Seager 0 for 3 tonight, and that really is headlines in this ballpark for Seager. He got a 15-game hitting streak here. Takes a strike, and he is down on the count now. 1-2. Robbie Ross handled Seager very effectively. And a couple of ground outs and a pop out. And now Kotz trying to do the same kind of job against him. 1-2 pitch. Skied to center field. Michael Choice in and over toward the alley. Makes the catch. And Seager's retired. He's 0 for 4. And that is out number 1. And Justin Smoke coming up.
But the Rangers can close this 5-0 game out. It'll be their 4th shutout of the early season. They had a 3-0 shutout in Tampa Bay. They had 2 1-0 shutouts against the Astros.
Yeah, if they complete that, how about this? 4 shutouts in 14 games.
Yeah, 3rd one in 5 days.
Wow.
At home. So much for this being a hitter's ballpark.
Yeah.
2 1-0 games against the Astros. Boy, Robbie was terrific tonight. Everything we hoped that he would show progress with.
Yep.
He trumped it. He was better than you could even hope for today. Didn't walk a batter, made quality pitches, a lot of weak ground balls. Well, he took any lesson he might have learned in Boston and put it to work today.
Matt Harrison there had a rehab start, 3 2/3 night before last. Smoke pops a pitch foul that will reach the seats behind home plate. Matt on the rehab trail looks to have probably 3 more starts or so before he becomes an option for Ron Washington and the club.
And when you have injuries like the Rangers have, you hear managers say it all the time. It's an opportunity for someone else, and you hope that opportunity is seized. And in this particular case, after 3 starts, Robbie's doing just that. Everybody's healthy. Maybe doesn't get a chance to start.
Smoke lines it to right. That's going to fall for a base hit.
But with the injuries, he's getting his chance, and he knows he doesn't have a long time to make his presence known in the rotation. He's taking advantage of his 3 starts. Popped a beauty up there tonight. Opened some eyes for sure.
Yeah, you'd have to say overall, Tom, I think each start has been successively better.
Yeah,
in most areas.
Exactly. But today he took the same stuff that he had in Boston and threw more quality strikes. I think he had like 16 ground balls, 16 to 5 ground ball to fly ball ratio. And most of those ground balls were not hit very hard. It wasn't like the Ranger defense was having to catch a lot of hard hit balls. Now they made some nice plays, especially Elvis at shortstop, but they weren't on hard hit balls. They were balls that he had to show his range on. Robbie was in command tonight. I think that's a game where you can only strike out 2 batters and feel like you're kind of dominating your opponent by how weakly they're actually hitting the ball.
Right. Yeah, and how much kindling he chopped in the winter too, because he was breaking bats right and left.
Yeah. You can dominate without the strikeouts, and certainly Robbie did that tonight.
1-1 the count to Willie Bloomquist. Kotz back to him, and a swinging strike makes it 1-2. Kotz has gotten a fly ball to center and given up a single to Justin Smoke. Trying to get Bloomquist. 1 out. Top of the 9th inning. Rangers leading 5-0. Looking to get the victory to take them back to the 500 mark. They could be 7-7. To right field. Rios coming on. The ball hangs up just enough for Alex with those long legs and long arms. Able to reach down and get it on the full run. Nice play by Rios. That's out number 2.
Good jump. Concentration.
The Rangers, who had 3 errors last night in the 6th inning, playing outstanding defense tonight. Had good defensive play after good defensive play. And the first pitch to Mike Zunino is low for ball 1. Neil Kotz trying to close things out. Get the Rangers back to that 500 mark and put them a couple of games over 500 at home. 4-3 right now. Hit well by Zunino to left. Chu toward the line. On the run, he makes the catch, and that is a winner.
That was another nice play. Shin-Soo got a good jump on that, but I thought it was a double down the gap because he hooked it and hit it hard. And just like Alex got the jump in right field, Shin-Soo got a great jump in left field to run that ball down.
On Shin-Soo Choo T-shirt night, he wrapped that one up, and it was the right size.
It sure was.
And Robbie Ross gets his first victory of the year. The Rangers get their 4th shutout. This one a combined shutout between Robbie Ross Jr., Alexio Gondo, and Neil Kotz. And the Rangers even up this series against the Seattle Mariners, a 5-0 final. Rangers 5 runs on 11 hits tonight. Mariners no runs on 7 hits. And the last out, Shin-Soo Choo out there in left field getting a great jump going toward the corner. And that's an opportunity where being left-handed certainly helped him out, being on his glove side. So an outstanding night all the way around. And Robbie Ross, tapped Mitch Moreland in the arm, said, "Wait, you see that?" And the skipper and Tim Bogart going through their win ritual. So the Rangers get the win tonight, 26,628 on a great night at Globe Life Park in Arlington. And let's go down to the field now. Emily Jones is standing by him.
Thank you very much. Here with the winning pitcher, Robbie Ross. Robbie, pretty much everything you said you wanted to improve on from that start in Boston, you did. How did that feel tonight?
It felt good. I tried to go out there and try to throw strikes, and obviously the guys backed me up. I mean, made great plays. We swung the bat well, so it was great overall. Just kind of go back out there and try to, progress in the right direction.
You worked quick, efficient, ground ball pitching. I mean, all the things that you wanted. Didn't walk anybody. I guess you hit one guy a couple times. That's all right, though.
Yeah.
But you did not want to come out in the 8th inning. Am I right?
Yeah.
In the 7th inning.
I mean, as a starter, you want to go as far as you can. You want to do the best you can. So, obviously you want to go as long as you can. And sometimes it just happens to be that way. And, Gondo came in there and picked me up. So it was huge.
Yeah, it was 7 2/3. I make sure I get that right. But I don't know if I've ever seen you that upset. You really wanted that last out. But just talk about now taking this one into the next one.
Sure. I mean, just, obviously there's little things I need to work on. And, it felt great, and, I'm just happy with it and take the good and the bad and go on and move on, and just excited about this win, and we're excited to keep going.
And one more little thing, not so little thing, Prince with his first home run, and then Kuzi picking you up as well.
Oh, I'm telling you, they're swinging it. We're going to get around, and it's going to start cracking a little bit. So I'm excited, and it's just nice to get out here and be with this team and work hard.
Robbie, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the win, guys. We'll send it back up to you.
Okay, good job, you and Robbie. That's good stuff from Robbie Ross. Very, very happy. The Ranger left-handed. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. John Radigan and Mark McLemore back to wrap things up from Globe Life Park right after this.